Hi friends, welcome to another Pick a Card Tarot reading. Today we've got another quick reading for you. We're going to be bringing you messages today of how can I connect to my higher self better? What are some ways for me to tune into my intuitive connection? So I've got a lot of different piles for you to choose from, so I'm hoping that we can get a bunch of varieties. I'm going to be channeling messages from the cards themselves. So I've got 4 different cards today in each deck from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, the Swiss deck, the Wild Unknown Tarot, and the Fairy Tale Lenormand. I'm still learning the Lenormand symbolism, so when it comes to that, I'm just kind of channeling messages that I can from each card. So before I continue here, I've got 5 different piles to choose from. We've got pile number 1 with this Jetstone, pile number 2 with this Amethyst, pile number 3 with this Petrified Wood, I believe that's what that is, pile number 4 with this Lapis Lazuli, and pile number 5 with the Selenite. Go down to the comment section now and choose between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for messages on how to tune into your intuitive connection a little bit better. We can always improve our ability to tune in and connect, and this is going to help you. Maybe it'll show some things that are blocking, something like that. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to jump right into pile number 1 for this quick reading today. First, we're going to move these up. I just want you to be able to see them still. Perfect. All right, hey there, pile number 1. Here is a quick reading with messages on how to increase your intuitive connection, how to connect to your higher self more, bring it into your daily life. What's blocking you from doing that? First off, we've got the Key. This card is really cool. I like it a lot because it's got this like really amazing portal in the background. Ooh, and I'm seeing a little bit of a face here too. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe that's just me, but I can kind of see, there it is. There's a face right there. So you're opening up this gateway, this portal into something new, this new life, this new realms. So connecting into your higher self, you have the key to unlock your intuitive connection. It's here around you all the time, and you've got this gateway waiting and opening for you. And we've got a master number 33. So potentially too, you can call on these master numbers are kind of really, they connect in with sort of angel symbolism. So maybe there's some spirits and some guides and some angels or entities and beings who are benevolent, who are ready and waiting to work with you to help you unlock this intuitive connection, that you can ask for this help and this guidance from your spirit team, and they can really help you unlock your intuitive abilities. Next card we've got is the High Priestess. There we go. Yeah, exactly what I was saying, right? She's this really incredible, I love it in this deck from the Wild Unknown because it's depicted as this really beautiful tiger. So you've got this like very rare snow tiger, white tiger, rare animal with this beautiful gem of a crystal ball, I guess, right? The High Priestess is all about tuning into your intuitive abilities and your intuitive connection. So you are a very powerfully intuitive person, I can see right away with this Jetstone. And you have the power to unlock those abilities more, and potentially calling in for help on the other end can help bridge the gap in these connections. We've got the Two of Pentacles, which talks about balance. So the Pentacles are all about the material world. The Two of Pentacles with this yin and yang symbol. In other decks, it's depicted as somebody who's juggling. So it's all about coming into a sense of balance within yourself. So potentially in order to unlock this connection further, making sure that the life that's around you, the world that's around you, is grounded and balanced and comfortable. By continuing to do that, you are able to give this High Priestess within you a foundation within which to come out. But if things are chaotic around you, it becomes more challenging because you have more chaos going on in the mind. because our inner and outer worlds reflect one another. So the more that your space is chaotic, the more that the world around you is chaotic, the more that you stop going on a schedule, or you break, your schedules break down, and everything starts to become chaotic, then everything inside is also that chaos, and you have a harder time connecting into the High Priestess energy here. Final card is Psychic Development. Wow. Yeah, totally. So I don't think I'm going to read, normally when I do my long formats, I read from this Oracle deck as well from the book, but I think today, just to keep things quick and the messages flowing, since I got a lot of them, I'm going to just kind of talk about this one. This one's all about, like it says, opening up your psychic connection. So I really do think, we've got this swan imagery here with the sun shining. The swan is this really beautiful animal, right? But then it kind of harkens back to the ugly duckling symbolism, right? Where the swan was always this really amazing, beautiful being, but when it was a child, it was with these ducks, and the ducks looked completely different than it. And so it had this really negative self-image in childhood going, but it's grown into this beautiful swan. So now that you're not a child anymore, I think that potentially healing some inner child issues can really help you as well to unlock this connection, that you have to remember that you are this beautiful swan, that you are not a deformed duck. You're an incredible, amazing swan with this beautiful intuitive ability. You are the High Priestess. She doesn't take any F's from anybody. She knows what's up because she's so tuned into her psychic realms and her psychic development. So I think that that's kind of the biggest thing for you. You've got a key that will help you unlock this portal within you towards your connection even more. And potentially you've got your spirit team and your guides on the other side are rooting you on and there to help you connect in. See, we've got faces on this gate as well. They're all around you. And really, to do it, just make sure that you balance your external world in such a way that you give yourself the time and the space and the connection to connect. And check in with that self-talk. Make sure that you're not continuing old patterns from childhood where you were putting yourself down, because you're really this beautiful swan, not a deformed duck. Okay, that's mine for pile number 1. I hope you like it. If you feel like you need more messages, check in on the other piles, because there could definitely be some more images for you. Hi there, pile number 2. You chose this pretty amethyst stone. It's really wonderful. Amethyst is one of my favorites, and it's all about like tuning into those upper chakras. So for this intuitive connection reading, how can you connect to your higher self more and tune into your intuitive abilities more? So let's see. Your first card is the Mountain. Okay, mountains are all about grounding, right? It's this incredible earth energy. They are solid, they are stable, they're there, and nothing is going to move that mountain. So I think the biggest thing for you for connecting into your intuition is to get grounded. What do I mean by that? I mean, practice grounding meditations can be incredibly helpful. Imagining your energy moving from your root chakra deep into the earth and connecting with the heart of Mother Earth, and then bringing that energy back up within you. Any kind of grounding. I would look up grounding meditations on YouTube, but really getting stable in the sense of the earth, right? With this mountain here. And there's lots of these faces going too. You've got the sky faces, you've got the mountain and the earth faces. So I think that this is also talking a little bit about connecting into nature as well, into these nature elementals. Potentially you have some nature spirits and elementals that are waiting and to work with you to help you connect with your higher intuition. Another great way for grounding is to go out into nature. If you have the ability to go like on a hike to a mountain like this, if it's crazy, or, even just going outside into somewhere by a tree, some kind of nature setting and scenario, I think can really help you ground. And that, will help you tune into this nature grounding, these nature spirits, this nature abilities. We got some berries here too. I don't know if you're in the Washington area like me, it's almost blackberry season. So maybe that's asking you, or it's asking me to go out and start foraging for wild blackberries. Obviously, that's not everybody who's going to be watching this, but it is me, so. Okay, Wild Unknown. Let's see what we got. We've got the 3. Oh my god, another mountain. Look at that. Wow. And this is a 3. We've got 2 3s. Wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's incredible. There was a master number 33 that appeared in the last pile, so potentially pile number 1 is helpful for you too, because we have 3 3. But wow. Oh, this is amazing. So the 3 of Pentacles talks about building strong foundations with other people, coming together with others to build strong foundations for the future. But for this, we've got more mountain symbolism. So I think it's just more grounding and potentially finding a community of other people that can help you, or building this foundation where you're grounding yourself and you're learning about how intuitive processes work, potentially going on to YouTube and looking up more meditations, more guidance, finding different teachers on the internet with either free resources or even taking classes potentially. I think that the more that you ground yourself and the more that you build these strong foundations too, with it being the mountains twice, this charged foundations, by really doing that, then you can dive headfirst into these upper realms. And that's kind of the thing about the amethyst in general and these stones that are really all about the upper chakras, is that it's hard to tune into those things when we aren't grounded, because then it just sort of like depletes our ability to focus and stuff, and we can't really take anything away from it. But when we have this strong grounded foundation, we bring those intuitive sections and those other worlds and those other realms into our lives now, and that's going to help you with that. Next card, we've got the Justice card. Ooh, wow, cool. So it's more balancing as well. The Justice is all about reaping what you sow, right? It's kind of, and it's going to be very reflective as well, of being this period where you look back on things that have happened and occurred in your life, and you forgive yourself for what needs to be forgiven. You look on it with this new, higher perspective. So I think as you start to build your foundations stronger, then that, coming from a new place of this really strong foundation, can help you look back on the past and look at some events and some things that have not necessarily gone your way, and can help you heal. I think that I see with this card balancing out your sense of self and healing some past pain and trauma will also really help you. And that comes from building a very strong, stable foundation in yourself and in life. Final card we have is Grounding. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. This entire pile is just about grounding your energy, and coming to a sense of balance. Balance in the world around you, balance, yeah. Oh wow. So yeah, I've been talking about grounding this whole time, so this really just kind of confirms it. We've also got the tree symbolism as well. If you don't think about a mountain, think about yourself as a tree, right? Where you've got, this is your upper chakras and your connection to the spirit realm, but here's your base chakras and your connection to the earth, right? And the tree can't really grow upward into these higher realms if it's not also growing downward into the earth to stabilize it. So it's really kind of talking about you continuing to stabilize your own connection to the earth in order to build this connection into the higher realms. You can't build up if you don't build down. It's not going to work. So the biggest thing for you is grounding. Look up grounding meditations. Look up grounding resources on the internet. There's so many. There's some really incredible grounding meditations that are out there. I'm thinking about potentially doing my own grounding meditations at some point as well. So stay tuned for that. I'm not entirely sure when that's going to happen, but potentially it will. This is incredible. I don't know if I've ever had a pile quite so synchronistic like this, but yeah, work on grounding. I think that would really help you. I'm going to move on to the next piles. Like I said, if pile number 1 resonated with you at all, you might want to watch that just a little bit. It's completely different stuff, but you had 33 here. Here's another 3, 3, 3, 3. So some angel connections going on here as well, potentially for you. But and 8s, 2 8s, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8s and 3s, 3, 3, 3. There's a 3 there. 6, 7, 8, 9. Meh. Anyway, you might want to check out pile number 1 as well. Or some other piles, there might be more messages for you throughout. So watch around if you feel like it. Hey there, pile number 3. You chose this petrified wood. I think it's petrified wood. It looks kind of like a tiger's eye, but it's tanner. I'm pretty sure this is petrified wood. If you know that it's not and it's something else, then let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, first card we've got in this reading on what are some ways for you to further connect to your higher self, boost your intuitive connection and abilities. What are some things that are going to help you with that? Child. Okay. Yep. For here, we're talking about inner child. So working on healing your inner child around you. And by doing that, it's really allowing you to open up your mind towards your childlike imagination. You can see she's in this woods here, and she's a little concerned. So you've got an inner child within you who is receiving the brunt of some of your negative self-talk. And the inner child tends to do that because that is when we were children, is when we learned to do those things. And so different situations and circumstances and family dynamics and so many things lead to this idea of being stuck in kind of a negative view of the self. And so it's really important to go in and work with your inner child and start to heal them. And by doing so, you're also healing your intuitive connection, because when we were children, we don't have a filter to stop us from doing that. We have this really beautiful, robust imagination in childhood. And that's what you're trying to work towards getting back to, because you can see, look at all of these spirits and forest beings she sees in here. There's so many faces, so many in the rocks, and we've got nature animals as well. You've got little animals. So by really working with going back into yourself as a child and giving yourself love, kind of something that I do for helping my own inner child stuff is I've got this one photograph of myself as a child that I really love, and I just go in and I talk to myself as a kid. I'm lucky that I have a young niece right now who's a toddler, so that's helped me kind of relearn how to talk to young children. And by doing that, I actually talk to myself that way as well. And it's important to remember how you speak to yourself. You wouldn't tell a child horrible things. You wouldn't tell them all of these bad things about themselves. And so when you talk to yourself, remember that you're also talking to this child within you. And I think it's time to reconnect with this sense of childlike wonder instead of holding it back and telling yourself that you're wrong for having that. Next card we've got is the Justice card. Wow, okay, so potentially pile number 2 might help you as well, because we also had the Justice card in pile number 2, but not necessarily. We got 5, 6, 7, 8 here. We got a 4 here, 4, 8. Justice is kind of all about balance, especially with this. This one in particular is looking like these balancing of opposite forces. So you have the yin and the yang, black and white, that things aren't all black and white. As you can see, we've got a whole card here. We don't just have one or the other. So it's kind of talking about getting out of this idea of good versus bad, good and evil. Things just are what they are. And so I think that potentially that can help you with this child self-talk as well, is to look at, reinterpret, because the Justice card is also kind of about going back and looking at past events and kind of reflecting on them now from a higher perspective. So kind of changing your opinion from these old stories, these old situations that are kind of stuck on a loop around you, and reinterpreting those from a new perspective. And once you start doing that, that's really going to help you balance in your own sense of well-being and sense of happiness within yourself, because you'll start to look back on things that happened, especially in childhood, where you don't necessarily, things are what they are. They aren't good or bad. They just happened. And so you can start to process them and start to forgive people and start to forgive yourself for these events that maybe you had no control over, or they really just kind of happened. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just that stuff happened. And so, really kind of coming into this balance of seeing the coin for both sides, right? A coin isn't just a heads or a tails, it's actually one element. So starting to see a perspective from this kind of non-dualistic standpoint can really start to help you heal a lot of things within you. And by doing that, that healing is going to help you boost your connection to your higher self. Next card we've got is the Jupiter card, which is the Hierophant in the traditional decks. And so to me, that is continuing along this same process. The Hierophant is all about the things in life that we are quote unquote supposed to do. It's tradition. It's the card of tradition, all of these traditional things. And so it's kind of like, to me, when this comes up, it's always about looking at the balance within ourselves and looking at what are the things that I'm doing in life that I'm moving through life doing because I feel like I'm supposed to, because this is what I've learned. I've learned from family and my family dynamic and my childhood situations and the patterning of my childhood that this is how things are. And how can I break that down, right? The Hierophant is asking you, you don't have to follow these things that you think you're supposed to do just because your family has told you that. And so I think that potentially what's blocking your connection with your higher self at the moment is all of these potential insecurities and self-doubts and negative self-talk that's really all surrounded by potentially family members from your past or situations from your childhood that had taught you how to act and interact with the world. Whereas honestly, that's not necessarily going to help you anymore because it's actually holding you back. You are your own unique, beautiful being, and it's okay to be that no matter what. And, who cares what anybody else thinks about that? At the end of the day, it's up to you to be you no matter what. And this card is kind of talking about coming to that kind of balance and reinterpreting your own past and liberating yourself from that past with this new ideal that who cares what anybody else thinks? Who are you deep down? What is it that makes you tick as you? And once you continue to do that kind of thing, that's really going to help you move into this newer sense of balance that will be further connected to your own inner self. Your higher self is your true self, quote unquote. It's the you that is the you in your most aspirational sense. It's if you were living your life in exactly the way that would make you the happiest, that's the most beneficial to you as a spiritual, enlightened being. And in order to do that, you got to take off this layer of who you were supposed to be, quote unquote, based on your family dynamics and what you learned as a child and what society has expected from you. It's societal expectations. It's learning to let go of these societal expectations and move into a new sense, back to this sense of childhood wonder when everything was possible, when you could connect to these nature spirits and imaginations and imaginary beings, because there was nothing holding you back from that. Final card we've got is New Beginnings. There we go. And yeah, by doing this, by going through this interpretive period where you use the power of the Justice card to let go of the past that was holding you back, you are bridging yourself into this new beginning. We've got this kind of this rope here. So it's connected from all of these potentialities from your past have come together to make this rope that can lead off to any potential outcome for you. We've got the butterfly and we've got some raindrops here. So it's like and there's a bird's nest in here. I've never noticed that before. So you've got these eggs that are ready to hatch here within you. And you're ready to transform into this new butterfly. And that's really going to help you with this connection, is going in and adapting your self-talk and making sure that you're coming to yourself from a sense of love, of self-love, really working on that self-love and letting go of some of these societal expectations of you, understanding that it doesn't matter how you live your life unless you're living your life the way that you want, because it's your life and there's not anything that anyone else can say about that that's going to change your happiness except the actions that you take for you. So really go in and start to look in this childhood stuff. I think that there's some resources available online as well for you. So maybe kind of look into some inner child healing out there. I'm pretty sure there's resources. So anyway, that was your reading. Let me know what you think either way in the comments. I've got private readings available on my website, www.junodrome.com. And maybe there's another reading that might resonate with you as well. So feel free to look at those. I don't think, oh yeah, there was a justice card in pile number 2, I think. So potentially pile number 2 or any of these other ones. Since these are quick readings, you've probably got some more messages for you in other areas. Hi there, pile number 4. This is your reading for messages on how to connect further to your higher self. How can you boost your intuitive connection to the great other? First card we've got is the House. Ooh, so to me, I'm getting some strong home is where the heart is messages, right? Maybe tuning into your own sense of comfort and home, making sure that the home life is in a place of balance and comfort. And even if that means, if you're living in a place or a situation where you've got some hectic dynamics going on, really finding some space within yourself and within your home where you can have this home feeling, home connection, going back to you within yourself, like this idea of coming home to yourself as well. So to me, I'm kind of getting that imagery of this, like, how can I create for myself this comforting home atmosphere in my own life? What do I need to do to set that up in my actual physical space? Do I have a space that's comfortable that I can go back to, that I can do some meditations in? Where is that for me? What is that for me? So to me, that's kind of what this card is talking about. Creating a sense of home. We've got the 7 of Swords, which kind of talks about being in this sort of deceptive energy sometimes, or kind of these energies outside of ourselves that aren't kind of working well. So I think too, with this pile now, with the House card and with the 7 of Swords, it really is kind of talking about what is it, the energy that you're letting into yourself from other people? Like, what words are you listening to from those around you that are harmful for you? And how can I create stronger boundaries? I think that the biggest and best way for you to boost your intuitive connection is to work on creating strong boundaries for yourself with those around you, and making sure that at the end of the day, there's always going to be this home place within yourself that nobody can say anything or do anything that's going to get to you. Nobody can stuff that sword into your soul so far that it's really going to be controlling you and controlling your thoughts and your dynamics. So really kind of working on clearing out some of these things and working on stronger boundaries with those around you, with family, friends, partners, whatever it may be. This is kind of asking you to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the people that are going to be boosting you and not bringing you down, and make sure that if that's not necessarily possible, that you are setting up strong boundaries with those people. It's incredibly important to do so. So I think, it might help you to Google some boundary setting stuff. There's some really incredible psychologists on YouTube who talk about boundaries and what they are and how to set them with family and friends and with yourself. And I think that would really help you. We've got the 8 of Cups here. The 8 of Cups is, let me think about what that is. It's hard with these cards to not have the imagery. The 8 of Cups is all about, moving on. Yeah, okay. So I think that's kind of the thing too, is maybe there are some people and situations in your life that are surrounding you that you're ready to move on from as well. The thing about the 8 of Cups is that the person has gotten these 8 cups into their lives because they've served them very well for a time, but now they don't really fit their life anymore, and they're ready to move on and go out and search for that 9th and 10th cup in their hearts. So for me, with what's gone on before, this is all about boosting your connection to your higher self. I think that it's time for you to move on from certain people and certain situations in your life, and that those situations and people are actually kind of getting you stuck in these mental thought loops and these negative talk and this negative self-talk even, that's really kind of bringing you down. And you need to come back to a sense of home within yourself in order to do that. I would check out some other piles as well that have gone on. There might be some extra messages for you. So just tune in as well and see if there's any extra messages for you from some other piles, because there definitely could be with this. But I think the biggest thing that's keeping you from connecting to your higher self at the moment is the people and situations that you've surrounded yourself with, and finding a way to kind of pull back from all of that and do some meditations on coming back into your sense of self. I think is really going to help you. And oh, okay, here we go. We got burden as well. This card is kind of all about what's the burden card talking about? It's kind of like this idea that that you feel like you need to help other people in order to feel accepted. It's kind of talking about putting others before yourself, and that you don't feel comfortable in situations until you kind of overextend yourself in order to feel accepted by others. And this card is kind of talking about how that's not necessarily in either the other person's or your best interest. And in fact, that by continuing to do that, that's actually potentially even manipulative behavior. Not to be super drastic about it, but think about it. If you're willing to not be yourself in order to get people to accept you, you're actually kind of lying to both yourself and that other person, and you're building up resentment within yourself because there's a big disconnect. So by continuing to do that, continuing to do the things that you feel like you have to do in order to maintain these relationships that maybe aren't in your best interest anyway, you're actually kind of furthering this disconnect that you have within yourself and within others, and that's actually really kind of hurting you and not helping you. So I think this is all talking about setting up firmer boundaries with those around you, that's okay, that will actually improve your relationships with those other people and with yourself, because it'll be coming from a place of honesty and sincerity, and that can actually transcend trying to do things for others just to make them happy, just so that you'll feel accepted. You got to come to that sense of home within yourself. You have to come to the sense of self-acceptance first. So yeah, I really am getting some hard connections to pile number 3. So potentially pile number 3 might help you. Who knows? Check it out if it resonates or not, because that's talking about healing the inner child. So potentially that could help you as well with this. But anyway, I think that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to help you connect further to your intuition and to your higher self. It's going to be setting up very firm boundaries with others and what you believe and take on from others' opinions, recognizing what's other people's stuff and what's yours, and not taking on other people's stuff anymore, not taking on other people's ideas and views of seeing the world, if it's going to hinder your ideas and views of the world, right? And I don't mean here that you can't have an open perspective and see other points of view. I'm not saying that at all. It's really important to do that. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you are building yourself and coming out from yourself, from you as well, that you are putting your opinions and thoughts and ideas first, because it's your life. And that's going to matter to you the most. So anyway, that's going to be my reading for you. I hope that you liked it. Please like and subscribe and let me know in the comments what you think. I've got private readings available on my website, www.junodrome.com, so check that out if you'd like a private reading. I've got some discounts for YouTube subscribers right now. So anyway, thanks. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to move on. Hi there, pile number 5. We got the final pile here. You chose this selenite stick. There's been a lot of kind of some overlap in some of these other piles. So if you're also getting, some nudges to listen to some other piles as well, feel free to check that out. These are all kind of fun, quick messages here. And there's been a lot of really great advice. So honestly, if you wanted to watch every pile, you don't have to. I think that there's a grain of salt of amazingness in all of it. I'm going to go back and listen to all these because this is actually exactly the question I needed to ask myself. So that's why I'm asking it for all of us. The question is, how can I connect better to my higher self and boost my intuitive abilities? We've got this selenite here. And the first card we've got is Gentleman. Ooh, neat. He's got this like tiger behind him. He's got this very Vietnamese style hat going on here. What am I pulling from this? Tigers are kind of this inner power center, and it looks like he's, you know, if he's got this tiger behind him, it's almost like his guidance. The animal is guiding him. The spirit of the tiger is guiding him, and so he's connected to his inner power and his inner prowess. And you wouldn't necessarily just by looking at him see a super powerful person, but this inner drive and inner strength is really propelling him forward. So I think that that's potentially what this is talking about. We've got the Magician as well, with more cats, big cats energy. So yeah, we've got this like strong feline energy, and we've got the Magician. So the Magician is talking about, you can see we've got a sword, a pentacle, a cup, and a wand all present within one suit. So the Magician has all the tools at his disposal to make anything happen, to manifest his dreams, to make any kind of connection happen. So this is understanding what you need to do in order to connect and boost your intuitive abilities and connect to your higher self. I think that it's really talking about connecting to your inner power, your inner drive, your inner feline, your inner magician. You have this ability to really tap in and tune in and make anything happen, but it comes from deeply connecting inside to your inner self. And what empowers you? What makes you kick? What makes you get up in the morning and want to go? What makes you want to just chase down your target, right? With these big cat energies, what is it that's going to make you chase that down no matter what? And so it's really kind of going back and asking yourself those questions. We've got the Three of Cups, which talks about celebration, and it's coming together with friends to celebrate. So I think it's, what are the things that really, really make you want to party, right? Like, what makes you tick? And I think that the more that you follow your passions and your drive and the things that really light you up and make you want to just celebrate and have joyful occasions and really, really love everything that's happening around you, what are those things that really make you tick? The more that you focus on the things that make you happy and you start to celebrate the things in your life that are going right and are really boosting yourself, then that's going to raise your spirits. And that is going to help you deeply connect into this intuitive ability that you have. Final card we got is Transformation. Yeah, okay, so this can sometimes talk about being at a rest period and going through this cocoon process. So you're transforming from one state when you were a caterpillar to the butterfly state. So you've still got this nighttime. We've got a lot of rest imagery going on here as well. So it's potential that you're kind of in a pause right now. But in order to move out of that, and I think it's going to happen really fast because we got this really big cats are really fast, and it's this fast joyfulness. So what it makes you happy, what makes you tick, and what lights you up? The more that you start to follow that, the more you transform into this butterfly. And so you might be at a pause or a standstill at the moment, but you're moving into these fast, swift, powerful energy. The more that you continue to focus on your magic, your own inner sense of power and drive. And so the more that you celebrate that power within you, the more you'll be connected and tuned into your higher self and following your own passions. Okay, that's my reading. It was really quick for you. I hope that it resonates. Let me know in the comments either way. If you would like a private reading, feel free to go to junodrome.com. I can get way, way, way more specific. And feel free to look at some other piles as well. If this didn't quite make it for you, if you want some other things, we've got other piles as well that could potentially resonate with you. But I think for you, I think you're really quite there. You are the magician. Just remember that. No matter what's happening in your life, even if you're at a standstill or at a pause, you've got this inner power and this inner drive that's going to get you anywhere. It's going to happen. You can get anywhere you want, and you might look like somebody who doesn't have an inner tiger within him, but you do. You've got this power and this force that's really going to make anything happen. So yeah, that's my reading for you. Please let me know in the comments what you think either way, and have a great day. See you later, friends.